So, crazy weather we're having. I'm sure the whole country knows by now that we're just dealing with a huge polar vortex, what we're calling it. I think it's Winter Storm Uri. And of course, our dogs are really excited about it. They are Siberian Huskies. If we have a chance, we'll throw a clip up of their excitement of playing in the snow. Here in North Texas, it's a very rare occurrence for us to have weather like this. I mean, our low forecasted for tomorrow is, I think, -2, which I've never experienced, and I grew up here. So it's just a crazy one-off experience, and it's kind of bittersweet because I've still been growing some stuff in the backyard. We have brassicas, onions, some perennials like artichokes and sorrel, and I mean, we did the precautionary measures we could. I don't know if everything is going to make it, but that's kind of the beauty around, you know, food production, the beauty around gardening is there's always another season. And what I wanted to share is that we are always going to be able to look forward to that. I recently placed an order from Baker Creek Seeds. I got my seeds in and I have not even opened them yet, so I figured I could share them with you guys. As it is pretty known in the gardening world, seeds have been a bit more challenging to get your hands on due to COVID and the issues we found ourselves in, where everyone, you know, gained an interest in gardening this year, and that is excellent, and I think that's great. But that opens ourselves to potentially look for new sources of seeds or look for new varieties that you've not grown before. And I'm in that honeymoon phase of seeds still, where I don't have experience growing every variety yet. So let me try it. Let me see what I like and what I don't like. And I think that's part of the beauty of heirloom growing and organic growing and the fact that there are so many varieties. So given our weather right now and just wanting to curl up and do really nothing outside, I figured what we could do is break out what I got from Baker Creek and see if you guys have any questions. We could go through it. I'll share why I got these seeds and kind of treat this as a bit of an unboxing. So I'm excited. So let's get started. Long list, so did go a little overboard, but you know, sometimes when you're gardening, I think when you're looking at stuff, you should get stuff that you're interested in, and it's fun to splurge on stuff like this every once in a while. So let me get organized real quick and be right back. Okay, back here, got it sorted. What I did was I broke it into types of seeds that I got. Now I will share, I do have a good seed collection already. I have herbs, flowers, tomatoes, peppers. I have like etc., which would be stuff like okra, artichoke, something that I couldn't necessarily group as an entire box. But what I found myself missing was additional jalapeno style peppers, because that is something that, you know, we utilize all the time in our kitchen, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to go a year without having some sort of that level of spice that I could grow in my garden. I also have been inspired the last year to get more into flowers. I've never really been interested in that before, and seeing how easy everybody seems to be in the gardening world to be able to grow zinnias, bachelor's buttons, cosmos. I've just been more interested in getting into that, and so I'm starting via seed just to get my hands on that process. as well as adding additional varieties of beans and tomatoes that I didn't already have that I was interested in growing. So that's a summary really of what I have here. So let's get into it. All right, so first off, I have a bunch of flowers. I actually have 2 stacks because some of these seeds are pretty big and I couldn't stack them all without them falling over. What I realized that I kept buying last year was marigolds. Marigolds are excellent companion plants for tomatoes. They're good planting around squash to kind of deter squash bugs, squash vine borers, that scent. Of course, nothing is perfect, but it's a very nice pop of color with the rest of the foliage that you know, we grow in the spring and summertime. And so I wanted to try to grow some additional marigolds. I found some beautiful types. This one is Bambino. They're compact plants that are 10 inches tall. Thought those were nice and beautiful with the striped colors there on the petals. There is this one here, Colossus Red Gold Bicolor. This one says it's the ultimate useful flower. The petals are edible and can repel garden pests such as whiteflies and nematodes. The fact that that one was specifically listed as the ultimate really intrigued me there. This one too is really cool. This is Mr. Majestic Double Marigold. And this one also was a tidy, like, compact plant. I had one type of marigold seeds that I had purchased from Johnny's that I didn't realize at the time that I bought them, but they are the giants that grow 4 feet tall. And so those aren't necessarily the compact ones that I was looking for my garden. So I wanted to get my hands on some of the ones that I definitely knew I was going to be getting. Next up is snapdragons. They're just a beautiful flower that is, you know, appropriate for more spring type weather. In our climate, they can be, I mean, they're sensitive to about 30 degrees. So in the next probably week, once we get out of this polar vortex, we can start to grow those. I already saw them at my local nursery a couple of weeks ago. Okay, first up we have the tall deluxe snapdragons. They are a range of colors that say pink, red, yellow, lavender, and rose. Again, first time doing flowers, so I'm getting my hands on a bunch of different varieties. There's not tons of rhyme and reason here to what I got. I just wanted to try different types. Next is Tequila Sunrise. It says this one is vibrant pinks and yellows contrasted with dark green, almost black foliage. Thought that one was pretty. This one is gorgeous. It's a dark purple called Black Prince. And that is it on snapdragons. Next up is nasturtiums. I love these. They just, the leaf structure on these are gorgeous. This one is Alaska Red Shades. This one here is Jewel Peach Melba. I love that cream color. They're just beautiful. I can't wait to grow these. And then this one here, this bright red called King Theodore. And it claims to have chocolate overtones. So thought those are good. Those are always good companion plants too. Edible flower, so nice, good garden style flower to have. Next up are zinnias. These are the ones that I'm probably most excited about just because of how seemingly easy I've heard that they are to grow. This one is called Aztec. It's a cactus style. And I've been more drawn to the cactus style zinnias that look more like dahlias. I know that those two flowers are cousins of each other, but thought this one was nice and pretty, and I like that jagged structure. This one is a green zinnia called Envy. So I thought that would be nice and pretty as well, due to like the more chartreuse type color. This one is a nice pink called Illumination. It's a double bloom. So got those to try. I also got 2 things of borage. I don't remember ordering 2, but double borage. This is considered a flower that is used as a garnish. The leaves taste like cucumbers, and you can add to salads and drinks. So I have not tried that before, but I'd like to, so I was excited about that. Next up are just one of each, so I'll go through these. Got these Cosmos in the color Candy Floss Red. Thought those were nice and pretty. Of course, Echinacea. This is a perennial, so it's considered a wildflower, and I'll hopefully have some space to have this come back every year. This is a mix called Bachelor's Button of the classic artistic mix. They're mostly bicolor in sky blue, royal blue, burgundy, rose, pink, and white. Got pansies here. Pansies are excellent. We can basically grow pansies in Texas I was going to say year-round, but they're our winter flowers. So they're what basically everybody uses to landscape in the winter months because they can stand up to it. So this one is beautiful. My colors that I'm drawn to for flowers are mostly blues, purples, and yellows. So I was excited to see that color of pansy. This is a Rudbeckia called Cherokee Sunset. Thought those were very pretty with the really bright colors. And buy to try color on each. And then, my goodness, this image was just what sold me on this. This is Bells of Ireland. Just one of those cone-shaped flowers, very, very delicate looking, and I was really excited to try that. So, that's the flowers I got. Next up is some herbs. Okay, so first on this list, a bunch of basil varieties. This one is dark purple opal basil. I have always heard of purple basil, I've just never grown it, so I wanted to give that a try. I also got lettuce leaf basil. Now, some of these came without the picture on them. Sometimes that does happen. I totally understand why, but so there's no real reason to show you a packet of no real image, but this is lettuce leaf basil, and it's basically exactly what it is. It's the size of a lettuce leaf of the basil type. So it would be perfect for a tomato sandwich, anything where you might need a larger size. So I've heard good things about this. I was excited to get my hands on that. I also got basil lime. So that is basically a tart version or a lime flavor, lime infusion with basil. So my goodness, I could think of some awesome cocktails that would be good in. It would be good in Thai food. So there could be some really good applications for that type. And also cinnamon basil. Cinnamon basil I would assume would be really good in Mexican cuisine, perhaps a dessert. So that was a very unique variety that I was excited to try as well. Or get my hands on because I still have to try it. Basically, I didn't have a ton of seeds in the herb category, so I got basic thyme. I have some thyme growing in my garden right now, but if I ever wanted to grow more, I would like the seeds to be able to do so. I got the variety oregano called Vulgare for Greek and Italian cooking. I got a flat leaf parsley called Giant of Italy. I got a mint mix. It basically says the flavors range from various mints. I would just consider this to be a really good cocktail or pollinator welcoming herb. I do not have a specific need for a particular type, but wanted to just get my hands on some mint in general. This is rosemary called Rosie. In Texas, it's a perennial. We have rosemary bushes that are, the size of me. But, if I ever wanted to start more, I would just like to have the seeds, and I have my ability to get my hands on some. So again, I'm not going to start all of these this season, but I just wanted to have it in case I ever did need some. And then this is an oregano called Wild Zatar. And it's claiming to be a historic Middle Eastern favorite, great flavor, blending hints of oregano, thyme, and marjoram, and its seed from Israel. Now, with Zatar, it's a spice blend that's quite mild, a little seedy, very earthy. I use it a lot in Mediterranean cuisine. But I didn't realize that there was a plant that had these characteristics all in one. So it's of course an oregano style, but it has the flavor of za'atar. So I'm really excited to try that, and potentially, if that's successful, I could dry it and create more of my own za'atar blend from what this produces. So I was really excited about that. Next up, we'll get into what I'm calling random. I couldn't categorize these. I got myself my hands on some old homestead beans. This is a Kentucky Wonder pole bean style. I have not grown beans yet. That is something that we plan to do once the garden gets expanded this season. And I do have a bunch of bush bean style varieties, but I didn't have any pole beans. And so I know that Kentucky Wonder is kind of a good go-to, so I wanted to start with this type just to see how I like it. Next up is Vibrant Ultraviolet Mustard. Now, I grew up eating mustard greens. I love them, and I'm growing them right now, actually, of a different style, but just seeing this violet stem, it just looked beautiful, and I was excited to try that. And then I got another round of early prolific straight neck squash. This one, again, doesn't have a picture, sorry. But we here in Texas have a pretty big problem with squash vine borers. I mean, I was picking eggs off 3 times a day. I was injecting the stems with BT. I did everything I could, and I think that's above and beyond what you should do with your garden. So what I'm doing this year is trying to combat it a little differently and accept the problem as it is, but try and take advantage of before the problem gets bad. So my intention this year is to grow only squash that can produce fruit quickly. I want to say the early style squashes can produce in 45 to 50 days. So once I get that in the ground, as long as I can get some production before the squash vine borers get super bad and destroy the plant, I'm hoping that I'll still feel like I had a successful enough harvest. So again, just anything I can find that says early or short day varieties of squash is what I'm trying to focus on. Okay, let's get into the peppers. I have a bit of a pepper problem in the sense that I love them. We use a ton of peppers around here with cooking. We'll use basically equal amounts of sweet and spicy, and anything that I can try for the first time, you know, I'm really excited about that, and there's so many varieties to choose from. So obviously this is way more than I'm going to be able to grow in a year, but I am going through a lot more seeds than I thought I would, so I was excited to get these so I could potentially start them maybe even for our second season in the July-August time frame. First up is the Italian pepperoncini. These are a good pickling pepper, so I wanted to try those. This one, there's a few cool ones where it's like, it's the pepper of what we would know to be the spicy variety, but it's the sweet version of it. So they have bred the spiciness out of the pepper, and you're left with just that flavor without the heat. So this one is a sweet bonnet. So it's basically the Scotch bonnet without the heat. So thought that one was cool. Again, it's called a sweet bonnet pepper. This one looks really cool. It's the Brazilian starfish. It basically says it's variable heat, yet juicy, quite often sweet. So I thought that would be a fun one. This is another one of those play on words, but like not spicy version of the spicy pepper called habanada. Thought that was cute. That one is basically a habanero without the heat, so aka nada. So that has the fruity notes of the habanero without the spice. Similarly, this is called the nada peño. So this is the jalapeno without the heat. So that one is, you know, if I happen to have additional spice of a dish, but I wanted that flavor of jalapeno still to be added, this one would be a good variety to use. This one here is a red Savina pepper. It is a habanero with more backbone. It was bred to be larger, hotter, and heavier than a traditional habanero. So that's going to be an interesting one to try. Next up we have, this one is really cool. It's called the Buena Mulata pepper. It's from a African-American folk artist called Horace Pippin, and they call it a chameleon-like pepper. It goes from violet to pink, then orange to brown, then to red. And they're edible. So I thought that one was very interesting. I do not know the flavor on these guys, but my goodness, just to see, I don't know, it looks like a cayenne style pepper, but I don't know, anything purple is really unique in the garden. So I was really excited to see that. I've got some Anaheim's, classic Anaheim peppers. I am about to start my entire packet that I had, so I wanted to get my hands on more in case I need. This one is Tobago seasoning pepper. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But this is the jerk seasoning pepper in Caribbean cooking. So got that one. Similarly, I got the Cubanelle pepper. This one is from the region of Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Dominican Republic. So that is, you know, that region cuisine, their pepper. And this one is the Hungarian style pepper. It is the traditional pepper. It's called the Lutschauer paprika pepper. Okay, so obviously outfit change. The battery died on the camera, and so what we decided to do was take a little bit of a break and play outside in the snow with our dogs. We'll add in some clips because I think you guys will enjoy seeing how much fun they had in it. But I want to keep this going. Next up, we do have the Sugar Rush Peach pepper. And this one is one that I've heard a lot of talk about. It is one that is very much a popular one that has come into play the last few years. And it's because it's fruity, it has a nice spice level. Those who are sensitive to heat can still tolerate it, but those who need some heat have enough, so it seems to hit a lot of interest, and so that is why this one is getting popularity, the Sugar Rush Peach pepper, and that is why I wanted to get this one. Now, in that same family, there's also if I can grab it, a Sugar Rush Red. I really don't know much of the difference in flavor between the peach and the red, but if I'm going to try one, I can try the other, taste them at the same time, and experience those differences for myself. So, you know, when I see one, if another is similar or intrigues me, might as well get it if it's available. So that was my theory there. Now, next up is another one that I'm really excited about. This is called the Lemon Drop pepper. Now, this one is one that is from Peru, and it seems to have more of a, like a fruity, hot flavor. So it is recommended to create this into, or to get the peppers once they're actually grown and make them into hot sauce, because it is a really good flavor palette for hot sauce. So I'm interested to see how that one is. So I grouped those together just because they seem to be more of the fruity peppers in general. Now, following that, standard shishito. I grew a shishito plant last year from a start and had really good success with it. It's very productive, but of course, if you're going to make it into a side dish where it's basically a whole bunch of peppers, you need more than one plant. So finally gonna get these from seed, start them, and that way we can have additional production. Shishitos are great. You basically pan fry them, and it's a great side dish even for those who don't like spice. I've had it for years in restaurants, and you know, just to be able to grow it is you know, just taking it to that next level. Okay, next up is a wide variety of jalapenos. Now, I believe I've already mentioned this, but we're big jalapeno fans. You know, we'll always use it in dishes to add a little flair, spice. I make a lot of fresh salsas. We call it salsa fresca in the summer, which is just, you know, vine-ripened tomatoes, cilantro, spice of whatever kind. And normally I'll use serranos or jalapenos, so to just have a little bit of variety. I'm growing so many jalapenos each year that I just wanted to stock up on my seeds, so I had more. So this is what I'm excited about, to try a bunch of new types kind of all at once. So this one is called Orange Spice. It's basically just a ornamental, prolific orange colored jalapeno. So I thought that one was really interesting. You know, just because I like to say eat the rainbow. So the more colors that you can have on your plate, the better. Just the variety of nutrients that you can put into your body at once. Similarly to that orange spice is pumpkin spice, which I'll claim to be basic here. Love pumpkin spice everything. I know that's just the color here, but it's a really exciting colored jalapeno as well. Now, after that, we have Craig's Grande jalapeno, and this one is claimed to be an improved jalapeno. So just nice and fat, thick walls, good for salsas. So this was kind of a go-to variety for me to try. Now I've heard of this one. This is called a Tam jalapeno. This one is considered to be a bit more mild of the spectrum of the jalapeno spice family. So it's still the flavor of a jalapeno, but it's not going to be as spicy as a traditional normal jalapeno. So this one is going to be a good in between compared to the notapeno and a normal jalapeno. This is kind of smack dab in the middle. Okay, next up we have black Hungarian pepper. It is claimed to be a Hungarian heirloom pepper, and it's a black fruit shaped like jalapenos that have a mild, hot, and delicious flavor. So there's another one that looks to me like a jalapeno, but obviously a little bit different. So I wanted to kind of group that in there as well. Then we have Big Jim. Now Big Jim on the back of this packet says that it smashes world records for the largest chili pepper variety. They're mammoth pods which reach 1 foot in length and deliver a perfect medium hit, a bit milder than the average jalapeno. So this one just sounded fun because it's like a huge elongated pepper, but you could still treat it like a jalapeno. Next up we got Serranos. I did speak about this one earlier. I love the spice level of this chili, so I'm really excited to get this one growing. That is the variety of Serranos there. And then we have Santa Fe Grande. Now this one is, it claims to make pretty pickles and salsa. There's not a description as far as the spice level on this one, so kind of have to see, but you know, I think we could probably handle it. Well, just, you know, sometimes you have to try for yourself. Okay, and finally, as far as the end of the peppers are concerned, we have the sweet peppers left. That is really what I mean is like a bell pepper style, where it's not going to kick you or anything like that with heat. You know, any person who's not so great at heat, this is going to be the section that would more interest you. First off, I got two varieties I have not heard of before, but it sounded intriguing. They are Quadrato d'Asti peppers. Now the red one is Rosso and the yellow one is Giallo. I'm assuming these are Italian based on the wording of these varieties. I don't know that to be true. But they are very high reviewed on the Baker Creek website. They claim that they are outstanding, good flavor, rich, sweet taste. So, you know, when I'm in that mode of getting seeds, when I hear great reviews about the actual produce itself, I either want to hear good stuff about the plants or good stuff about the fruits. And, you know, when I hear both, it's even better. So, wanted to try both of these because they were great sounding and available and looked great. Next up, this variety here is called the California Wonder Pepper. This is the most common bell pepper that I know. I have grown this before. I am currently starting it by seeds. And this was a particular case where I ran out, and I know this to be a good variety, so I just wanted to restock up on it. Next up, I got a variety called orange bell pepper. There's not any more specific than that. It's just called orange bell pepper. I mean, orange bell peppers, the ones I've tried at the grocery store before, they're great flavor. They're just, I like the colored ones. I'm not as big of a fan of the green bell peppers, but any of the colors I think just are sweeter. So again, you know, this is a color I didn't have. I wanted to try it, and hopefully this one turns out. Next is another bell pepper variety called albino bullnose. It is considered a snow white version of the old favorite bullnose pepper, and they are nice and cream color, and as they ripen they turn to a red orange. So wanted to try this one as well. I think having that cream color transitioning to a orangey red, just having that color transition in the garden is nice and beautiful. And this last of the sweet bell peppers is one I am probably most excited about. It's called the Lesa pepper. The description here is, again, one of those ones that just, it sounds too good not to try. You know, it says, believed to be the sweetest of all peppers with the thickest flesh they've seen. It's a total crowd pleaser with intensely juicy texture. Plants are stocky and high yielding and altogether rugged and easy to grow pepper. So, you know, not only the description, but like the actual picture, it's, it has like a cone bottom part of it, so it's an interesting shape. It has really nice dark shoulders on these peppers, and so overall this one just really intrigues me. I'm really excited about it. And last up, the last section I have is tomatoes. I do have a good selection of tomatoes going, but these are ones that I've wanted to try, and you know, every time I'll go seed shopping, you can't get everything you want, so these are just ones that I have not been able to get until now. So that's kind of exciting. So first up is Brad's Atomic Grape Tomato. So this is a grape tomato shape, and it is basically like the most technicolor tomato I've seen. There's purples and there's greens and yellows, all on the same plant. So I just thought that that was a really, really cool tomato. I have seen them in pictures on Instagram of this variety, and they're just gorgeous in the summer sun when the sun's just beating down on them. And so I'm really, really excited to try growing this in my garden. And next up, another variety is called the Napa Chardonnay tomato. It is a sweet yellow cherry and considered one of the very best cherry types that people have ever tasted, as claimed on the back of this packet. So again, one that I have seen and not had before, so excited to try this one as well. Now this next one is called Mushroom Basket. This is one of those bigger heirloom types, like a slicer style, but it has the ribbed texture that I associate with like an heirloom style tomato that you would, you know, buy at the grocery store. It's just, it is ribbed and pleated but uniform and large, firm fleshed with a sweet mild flavor, not very seedy, and it is a favorite tomato from Russia. Now I heard about this variety based on a gardening Facebook group I'm a part of in our area who had success with it this past season and really, really recommended it. So I wanted to try this one and see if I had the same success. And last up, Baker Creek always does send out a free packet of seeds with every order. This time I got a white Tomasol tomato. I have not tried this one either. This is an heirloom, creamy, smooth, half-pound fruit. I have not seen this color, like this creamy yellow color, in a large tomato before. I do, like, you know, I had the Napa Chardonnay, the yellow pear. I've had lighter and cream colored tomatoes before, but not in this size. So I'm interested to try that as well. And that basically wraps up this video. I wanted to just, you know, reiterate, although things might be a little bit different this year as far as what selections we can typically get, there's obviously still options out there, and it's a time where we can explore and try new varieties, and you know, not everything is out of stock. So I wanted to just make sure that you know, this was representative of that very message, and hopefully you guys can share in my excitement with this seed starting season. Of course, with as yucky as it is outside, it's really excited to think about this next season, and hopefully we can get everything going and it'll be summer before we know it. So thank you guys for watching with me today. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. What is that? What is that, Pino? You like it?